What is going on, guys, and welcome back to another Rare Games with your host, as always, K-Mac Time. Today we're looking at a really cool system one from the 90s. Really cool. I remember my brother had this growing up. I didn't have too many games for it because I was a little too young for it. But of course, talking about the Sega Genesis, has some great games. Obviously the Sonics, great on this system. Very cool. Love Sega. Very cool games and systems. So let's go ahead and jump into the top 10 rarest and most expensive. Starting with number 10, The Punisher. Now, this is a port of an arcade scrolling beat-em-up game. It's similar to Double Dragon and Final Fight, but you play as Punisher and you defeat the Punisher comic book enemies. The Genesis was the only home console to give this game, to actually have this game on it. So it sold poorly and it's actually pretty rare. But you can pick up a used copy of this game around $40-$45 used on eBay-ish. Usually pretty hard to come by, though, if you don't go out into an eBay store and find it. Our next game is Biz Supersonic, which is a sequel to the original airline business simulator. We started an international airline to compete with other different airlines. Very cool game. It's a simulator, like I said, about a business scenario. It even has historical events such as the fall of the Soviet Unions and all that kind of 70s oil crisis is also in there. However, this is a very niche market for games, so this game didn't sell very many copies, but it's still kind of popular. It's actually a really good game, apparently, and you can get a used copy around $45. Next up is Spiritual Warfare, which is another Christian video game released by Wisdom Tree. The game is kind of similar to The Legend of Zelda gameplay-wise, but you're in the Lord's army and stuff like that, and it's about religion and all that kind of fun stuff. Like other Bible games released, we're not traditional retail stores. You can only get these through Christian bookstores, mail-in orders, making this game super very and very collectible. This game will run you about $55 used. Next up is Action 52. Now, this is a very popular game among collectors, especially for the NES version. However, the Sega Genesis version is not quite as, let's say, rare, or it's still rare, but it's not quite as expensive. It came out 2 years later than the NES version. Of course, it still had all of its bugs, and the game still crashes at level 2 and some on the 1 in the game, making it impossible to beat. But, it's still a pretty rare game. We'll run you about $75. Pick this up used, about $100 if you find it complete in box. Next up is Bible Ventures. Again, another Christian game by Wisdom Tree. We play through levels roughly mimicking the stories of Noah's Ark, baby Moses, David and Goliath, and other stories from the Bible. Again, this was only released through Christian bookstores and mail-in orders, so many gamers didn't even know this existed, making it super collectible and very uncommon. The rarity adds to demand among the game collectors. You can get a copy of this for around $75 loose and about $150 complete in box. Next up is the Blockbuster Game Factory Blue. Now, there's also a green cartridge of this, a little more common, still worth a good penny, but the blue one's the one that's worth more. And what it is Blockbuster was attempting to do downloadable games where you could go into a Blockbuster and they would download a game onto the cartridge, and you could rent that cartridge, and then they would come back and they could erase it, and then they could download the next cartridge onto it. Yeah, it was kind of ahead of its time. It didn't go over very well, and it was phased out pretty quickly, making these cartridges very hard to come by and very collectible. A used one will run you about $75 to $80. Next up is Crusader of Sin, which is an action-heavy RPG released by Atlas in 1994. Some people compare it to Link to the Past Zelda game. But again, everything with Atlas, they do these in small print runs. They make games that are really high-quality RPGs usually. And like I said, small print runs compiled with really good game, make it very sought after by collectors. A used copy of this will run you about $75 to $80 as well. Complete in box run you over $100 easily. Next up on the list is Beggar Prince, which is a role-playing game that was originally released in 1996. However, it was not released in the United States. But this is where things get interesting. In 2006, a company named Super Fighter Team translated the game and commercially released it in the United States, making this the last commercially released Sega Genesis game in history, the last one released since 1998. However, they only released 1,500 copies of it, and they were sold out by the end of 2007, and making it a very hard to come by game, a very cool, interesting game. A brand new copy of this usually stayed in box because people that bought it were collectors. It's around $150 to $200. So coming in at number 2 is Musha, I'm probably pronouncing it wrong, but it is a shooter and is very similar to 1942 or Gradius. The game never really found a following in the United States when it was released in 1990. However, it was later picked up and has a very rabid fan base who are willing to pay top dollar because this game is just so good. It is considered one of the best games, or the best shooters on the Genesis, and really of this whole generation. So like I said, fetches top dollar for collectors out there. Usually around $140 to $150 for this copy of this loose. And of course, the most expensive, rarest game for the Sega Genesis is Blockbuster World Championship 2, which was a national video game competition card held in stores in 1994. Players would compete in up to 4 games, and they would combine the scores, and they would have championships, blah, blah, blah. Apparently, most of these were just supposed to be sent back to Sega to be either destroyed or archived or whatever. Although a few did find their way into collectors' hands and are now very, very expensive. The last one that sold at auction sold for over $3,600. So that's how expensive and rare this game is. But that's all we have time for, guys. I hope you guys enjoy this list. I hope you guys enjoyed some of these games, and I hope you guys would feel good about leaving this video a like. I really appreciate it, guys. You hit the like button. Also, in the comment section, let me know what your favorite Sega game is. Mine is personally Sonic 3. Love, love, love that game. I just purchased it not too long ago, so I have a copy of it now. Really cool. But also in the comment section, let me know what should be next. We've already covered all of the Nintendo systems and the handhelds, so let me know what should be next. Check out some of the previous videos. As always, guys, have a great day. Oh, and before I forget, the secret word at the end of this video, you guys can leave in the comments as well. So let me know that you guys made it all the way to the end of this video is scissors. So go ahead and scissor me timbers, and take it easy, guys. Until next time, peace out.